Hi guys. It is close enough. I figured I'm gonna go ahead and start. My clock I think is a few minutes off, but by my phone I'm on time. So I'm gonna kind of give you a rundown as to what I'm gonna do in the live tonight while people start logging on. So this is the guy that I just finished up last night, and I thought, why not do him in a live? And these boots was my inspiration as to what he was going to look like. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do the jacket and the pants, because I can't sew for nothing. So I thought, well, I'm just going to wing it, see what I can do, and make templates as I go, so I have a better way of recreating him later on. And then after he was done, I went, oh my goodness, I'm going to do a live, show how I did these. So I got the boots at Hobby Lobby. And then everything else, I'll show you what all I got. So I'm going to set him aside. He stands really well too. And I ended up making some templates. So this is what I use for the beard. It is 3 inches wide by 3 inches tall. And I just kind of winged it. And once I got the shape and everything that I wanted, then I put it on cardboard. Hi, Danielle. I am so glad you were able to catch me too. A lot of times I work 40 hours a week, so a lot of times I never know how many people I'm going to get to see. Plus, a lot of my lives go on for about 2 hours, and I realize that is a little bit long for people to sit and watch. But I mean, you can always watch it when you have more time. Or, after it's completely done, you can watch it and fast forward, you know, to where you want it. Hi, Teresa. So I started out with the beard template because I wanted to know about how much I wanted to show. And then after that, I used the cone and the styrofoam ball for my other templates that I ended up making. So for this here, it's a 6-inch cone. And then the ball, it says 6-piece, 28-inch. There was 6 of them. It was a 28-inch ball, and I cut it in half. And I mean, you don't have to have this on top. You can use a pool noodle. You can use whatever you want. This just makes it a little bit easier for me. Hi, Mary. Hi, Trisha. So, in order to start, it kind of looks like a mushroom, right? And I thought, well, the rounded part will help, you know, form the top of his head, you know, and I don't know. Sometimes my way of thinking doesn't make sense to me either. So, hi, V. So, I'm just going to go ahead and I cut the styrofoam ball in half so they would go farther because I didn't want to use the entire ball. I mean, I could have, but I wanted them to stretch a little bit farther. I didn't want, you know, I wanted to save a few pennies in my pocketbook. Now, when you glue these together, the hot glue will melt the styrofoam. So, I put a little dab, and you can see I use it quite a bit. I used a dab of E6000 first, just on the top, and then I put a little bit of hot glue on there to hold it right away. Hi, Mary. Let's see. You know what? People have asked me why my glasses are up here. It's because of the lighting. Because see how you can see the reflections? Okay, so it was not 28 inches. It is 2.8, and I do apologize. So it's 2.8 inches, and it's 7.1 centimeters for the styrofoam ball. And also, you can always message me. So if I mess up or if you don't catch it during the live, you can message me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But I've already glued this, and I did a little bit of prep last night, so hopefully it won't take so long for the video. But I could sit here and talk to you guys doing crafts for hours and hours and hours. I could probably do a good 5-hour video if you guys would watch it. But I figured I'm going to try to save a little bit of time so I don't have to go so long. It'll probably take about 1.5 hours to 2 hours anyway, even though I did the prep, just because I'm explaining everything as well. But like I said, you can always re-watch it later, fast forward to where you want it, and go from there. You can mute me too if you don't like hearing me speak. But I already glued these together, so they're nice and good. And I wanted down here, because the top of his pants, I'm going to make like a little, it's going to look like the top of his pants. So I measured around, and this little strip, that's going to go around here. But I'm going to fold down the top and the bottom to create that band. And that one is 2 inches tall by 10 inches wide. So that will be the top of his pants. And I've already cut out my pieces, so I don't have to do that right now. And then the hat, it's about 10.5 inches for the bottom there. And then it goes 9 inches tall. So 9 inches tall to the peak, and then about 10.5 inches wide for his hat. Hi, Kelly. And then for the jacket part, I kind of just measured it with the felt first, and then after I got it cut how I wanted it, I put it on this. So this here is about 7 inches tall by 8 inches. So it's a 7 by 8. And that's for his coat. And then I ended up buying a pair of socks. The other one that I did, the dark brown, this is what I have for his body. And I used the entire sock. What I will do is I will cut at the heel, and this toe, the toe part and part of the heel, that will come up. And then this decorative part, that will be his undershirt. And I've already, on this one here, I'm going to use a lighter brown. So I'll have a dark brown and a lighter brown. So on this one, I figured for his outfit, for his undershirt, it'll be a dark one. And I'll walk you through that when the time comes here. And then, of course, the boots, I got them at Hobby Lobby. It's just a little Christmas ornament. And so I cut the hanger off. So then I'm just left with the boots. And they're stuck together. And so I left them like that. And then the wood that he's holding, I got in a bag like this. I ended up getting it at Hobby Lobby as well. And I just used 6 pieces, formed a stack. And then I just took some jute or twine, wrapped it a little bit, a couple times on the sides. That way he'll be able to hold on to them. And I've already glued these together. You don't have to glue them down if you don't want to, but I figured if somebody bumps it, they're not going to fall apart that easy, so. Alright, then you need these little foam curlers. These are his arms and his legs. And I'm going to show you what I do with the legs right now. So inside, there is a little wire, and then there's a button on each end. So I push the curler down a little bit, and I take that little button off, and I pull that out of there, just for the legs. Now with the arms, I keep one side in there for the arms, and I'll show you how I do that after a bit. Then I also use chopsticks. You can use dowels, whatever works for you. Some people have even used skewers. I mainly want to be able to push it up and glue it in there, just so it's a little bit more sturdy. And the chopsticks are a little bit long for me, so I measured it to how much I wanted at the top. And then I took my snips. I don't know if you can see that, but right about here, I took my snips and just created a little indent on there. And then it'll be able to just break off. And these little pieces I keep because I might use them later down the road on something else. But those will go inside those curlers. Pretty simple. And then you'll cover those with felt, and I'll show you how to do that here in a minute as well. Once these are in and you add the rock, I also add a little piece of felt to cover up so they don't fall out. Let's see. For some of the details, I also cut a little piece of felt to go to fasten his jacket. And then I raided my mom's button box, and I grabbed some buttons. So I'll use those. And then, of course, embellishments for the hat. This one here, I'm going to use this really pretty glitter. I think this dark brown will pop on that light brown. And then a little yellow flower, and then some berries. So I've got all of my embellishments on there. When I get the legs inside the shoes, I also use this gravel. I got it at Dollar Tree. Hi, Kathy. But you can use sand. You can use whatever you like. And then for the beard, I used the faux fur. I've already cut one out with that template. I figured this one, I'll have a white beard since the other one had a dark one. And for the nose, I bought a big bag of beads, or wooden beads from Amazon. If you need the measurements for those, or the size of those, I can message you later. Just let me know, because I don't have access to that right now. But it's just a big bag of them. And I use the same size for the nose and the hands. But you could use pretty much anything you want for that. And then for the fluffiness around the arms and the brim of the hat and everything, I've got this really chunky yarn. It comes in several colors, so you don't have to use the cream if you don't want to. Just whatever colors you are wanting. Now in the arms, I used a skewer, just because it's a little bit smaller, and I don't want it to go all the way through the curler because I still want the arms to bend. So I cut them down to about 3 inches. Yeah, about 3 inches for that. And the glue, I know a lot of people ask me what glue I use. So I work at Walmart, so I normally get most of my supplies there or the Dollar Tree. I very seldom go out of town to get to Hobby Lobby or Joann's, but I'm sure you can get this there as well. I have a Sure Bonder cordless glue gun. I also have one with a cord. But I just use the Sure Bonder glue and the E6000. But whatever you use would work just fine. I always say use what you have. You don't have to go out special and purchase it. The felt, it is, let me see here, 9 inches by 12, and I ended up buying three sheets of the felt, and that made one, and I also had leftover of the felt as well. So what I did was I cut out all of my pieces, and I also cut out a circle the same size as the bottom of my cone. Now, you don't have to do this. I just do it because it looks more finished. It's just my preference. But like I said, you don't have to go all out. You can do however you like. So if you guys are ready, I'm going to go ahead and start assembly. And if I've forgotten anything, I'll let you know as I go. Or if you have any questions, I'll try to keep up as I'm going. So first of all, I'm going to dress him, and then I'll start doing the legs after that. So this one here, I already cut my sock right where the heel is. And I'm going to put that, and I'm a little picky, right where that toe line is, that's going to be right on the bottom of your cone. So I'm going to use that as a guide. And then I'm going to stretch that up towards the top. So there's the toe, that stitching. There we go. And then I'm going to glue down the top of this. And I'm putting the glue on the sock because that will help it to where, if you put it directly on the cone, it'll melt your cone. You would hear a lot of snap and crackling. And this is just to ensure that your sock is going to stay up. Sometimes when you put that other one on, it'll pull this one down slightly, but and then the top of the sock, I'm going to have that like it's his, almost like a turtleneck for him. So I'm just going to stretch that a little bit. And you're going to have extra on the bottom. So see, I have that up towards the top, and that's going to be like a little turtleneck for him. Then you're going to pull all that extra down. So all of this is extra. I'm going to shorten that a little bit because we're not going to need all of that. Because I'm going to put that little piece of felt on there. And where it curves over this bottom, I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And right now you're probably thinking, how is she going to glue those chopsticks into the bottom after gluing this down, plus I'm going to put a piece of felt there? it's easier than what I thought it would be. Hi, Nicole. So then I'm going to go ahead and glue this bottom on there. And that's just to help him look just a little bit more finished. So once I have that done, I'm just going to set him aside, and I'm going to start working on the legs and the boots. Now I cut this piece of felt to the length of my foam curler. So that is almost 6 inches, just shy of it. I just used the curler as my guide. Hi, Izzy. And Dan. So then once I get that done, I just roll this, and then once I know where that's gonna hit, I'm gonna go ahead and cut just a little bit past where those two would meet. And then I'm gonna put a small bead of glue there we go. And whenever I do these, I always put where they meet, like the crease, I always put that to the back. And when I do the arms, the crease for the arms go towards the inside. That way it's more hidden. Okay, so then I'm going to do the other leg. I was really surprised at how easy and how quick this gnome was to put together. I'm not good at making clothes, but this one here, with as good as he turned out, it really boosted my confidence because I like how it looks, and it looks like he's got a nice outfit. So I'm just doing the same thing with this one. And then I face the boots next to me, and then the back, that back seam is going to go to the back of the gnome. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the bottom. The socks that I found, I ended up getting those at Walmart. But Dollar Tree has neat looking socks too. So I just glue that to the bottom. I want to say it was a set. I was looking for a specific, I was making a special gnome. And I'm always having a hard time finding socks. And it's very, very hard to find brown, I've noticed. You can find black every single turn, you know. You can find black, you can find white. It's very hard to find brown in socks. I suppose you can order them online too. So you just let those dry just a little bit and set up. If you don't let it dry good, then you might have it a little bit wobbly, or they might lean forward a little bit. So I just let it dry just a little bit. And then I got these little shot glasses. I think I got them at Dollar Tree. It just makes it a little bit easier when I pour into the shoe. It makes it so much easier than using that bag. Hi, Pat. So then I take the rock, and like I said, you can use sand or whatever you like. This is just going to help weight that shoe. And then I just kind of put my finger in there, kind of mush it around, make sure that it's getting inside the toe area. And I also want to make sure that the rock is going a little bit to the sides too, just to fill in that space. And it takes about 2 of those cups. Hi, Marianne. And then I did these last night when I did the other one. You can use the same color, like I'm doing the light brown. But I figured since I was doing the dark brown, I'm just going to go ahead and do the dark brown because the boots are dark. So if I did the light, I mean, it would match his legs, but I'm just going to do this. There's really no wrong way of doing it. It's however you want. Don't make it too stressful for you. It's supposed to be an easy craft and not stressful. So then I just measured the inside of that boot so I could do this piece. And then I just cut a little piece out that's going to go around that leg. Then all you do is you just stick that on top of those rocks and you push it down. That way it's not going to let any of those fall out. So I'm going to hold that one up. I have one done and one not. So right here is where those rocks are going to go. And then this one, none of the rocks are going to fall out because I have that covered. And it's nicely weighted down. So then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Hi, Auntie. There's a lot of people watching. That's pretty awesome. I tell you, I was really surprised last night when I was checking Facebook or was it this morning? I can't remember if it was last night before I went to bed or what, but finding out I had over 700 followers just blew my mind. I didn't even know I was that close. But I ended up drawing the names, and I posted that on my page. And then after the live, I will contact those people and send them just a little bit of sunshine. I think everybody needs that right now. And so I'm really glad that I reached that 700 mark. When I get to 750, I will draw another name. So whenever I hit the 50s, I draw one name. But if I reach the 100, then I draw two. Just because, woohoo, it's a bigger number. So, just need to spread some love and sunshine out there. Need more. Okay. Then I'm going to put that piece in there. I love the effect that this little piece gives at the top of that boot. Hi, Susie. Hi, Wendy. Okay, so there's the tops. So those rocks are not going to be flying out of there at all. Like if he gets tipped over, they're in there really nice. There's glue on the top, and he stands really nice like this. So his feet are done. Now we'll go ahead and I'll show you how I do the arms. So with that, I need these for the little hands. Hi, Mela. Alright, so with this one, I do it a little bit different. So on one end, I push the curler down, and I add a little bit of glue down in there. And then I close it back up. So that's going to hold this in its place. The other end, I'm going to take that little button out and bring that back up. Now it's glued on this side. And then I'm going to take one of those 3-inch skewers, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue to this side. And I'm going to put that skewer in about halfway. Just enough to where it's going to poke into the that cone. And when you go to bend your arm, it kind of creates a little shoulder. But you're still able to bend the rest of that arm. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other one. Add a little bit of glue. Close it back up. Then the other end, take the button off. And I do save those buttons. It's hard for me to throw anything away because the crafter in me says, you can use it for something later. They could be eyeballs, they could be buttons for somebody. You could even use these for the buttons on his jacket. So you wouldn't even have to use buttons. You could just use that little piece from the curler. And then I just compare side by side. And then of course, I'm gonna cover this. With this one though, I'm gonna go lengthwise because I want a little piece, I want to bring it up probably about 1/2 inch, because when I put that ball in there, I want it to look like his hand is partway inside. So I'm going to run that bead of glue. So for the legs, I went this way. But for the arms, I'm going to go this way because I want that little piece left over. And I've got plenty of this felt. Then run another bead of glue along the other side there. And where these meet, that will be the inside of his arm. And I didn't close up the very tip because when that ball goes in there, it's going to kind of spread that out a little bit. And when I add the glue, I'm going to go directly on that button and around that felt. So the cone is 6 inches and the ball was 2.8 inches. Hi, Amanda. Okay, so I glued the hand in there, and you can see how there's like a little crease there. You're not going to see that because you're going to cover that with this yarn. Okay, so now I'm doing this arm. I'll glue that around. I need longer fingers. Keeps wanting to unroll on me. There we go. Hi, Brittany. And as I'm gluing this down, I kind of hold it in its place for just a little bit because I want that glue to dry just a little bit. So I put a little dollop of glue in there on that little button and around that edge of the felt. And I put that in there. And of course, it does have that little gap there. You're not going to worry about that because we're going to use this chunky yarn. For the boots, I'm using it's Christmas ornament from Hobby Lobby. If you can't find those, I've seen people use like a toilet paper tube in order to make them high up here. I don't know. I always look to see where I can find boots. The Christmas ornaments are the best ones I can find. They have little itty bitty shoes at the Dollar Tree that you can add to, or you can use cardboard. You know, just whatever you can find. My brain is always working, so anytime I go somewhere, I found these little tennis shoes in the dolls section of stores, so those work really good as well. I've gotten boots off of Amazon. I know some of my other gnomes that I have done, they sell the boots at Dollar Tree, one for $1. So whenever I do that gnome, his boots are $2. But this pair, I want to say this one was $4.90 something just for the boots. So I mean, it just kind of depends on what you're wanting to spend. And the Dollar Tree ones, the Christmas ornament, that's the boots, they're bigger. And if you're wanting to order those online, they don't sell them separate. They sell them in a bundle of, let's see, you get one boot, a bell, a little house, something else. You get like a bunch of stuff. So in order to get 2 boots, you have to order more than one clump of them. So, I don't know. You just do what you can. Yes, a Keurig cup would work great. Thank you so much for that tip. Okay, so here's his arms. They look like little drumsticks, don't they? Okay, so next thing, this is the top part. It's going to go right around here on his body. It's going to be the top part of his pants. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue along this top. And then I'm going to fold it to the center. And it doesn't have to be precise. I mean, you can measure and all that. A lot of times I just wing it. The chunky yarn, I found it at Walmart. But I think Joann's and Hobby Lobby both have it as well. Or you can get it online. I use it on a lot of my projects. I had used a witch hat form and used it on there to make a Santa hat. I used the red color, and it turned out super cute. I think that's the live where my glue gun broke midway through. It was hilarious. I had to like stop and redo it, do my live later. Yeah. It was a blast. I laughed so hard at it. But even the ones with the mishaps, that's how you learn and you improve. Alright. Alright, so with this, I need to find where I want his backside to be. It really doesn't matter. There's no rhyme or reason. You're not going to really see a whole lot of this. I mean, you could actually leave it plain if you wanted and just do that strip down here because it's going to get covered with the jacket. But I figure if you see little bits where it's not fully connected, it'll actually look like he's dressed. So I'm just going to choose a spot and I'm going to start gluing it down. And this will just make it look like he's got pants. And as I bring it around, I do stretch it just a little bit. And if you have a gap to where it doesn't meet at the end, it's okay because it's going to be covered with the jacket part. So you're not even going to see that little gap. So then, once you have that on there, it's going to look like he's got pants. So cool. And it was so mind-boggling. I was like, am I going to be able to get those in those skewers in there? Trust me, it does work. So I'm setting this aside. And then I'm going to glue the yarn around his jacket. And just a heads up, when you do cut the chunky yarn, it does shed just a little bit. Then of course I hold this down kind of strategically and very gracefully, I suppose, or gingerly, because sometimes if the glue is in a different spot, you might end up burning your fingers. So just be very careful when you do it. With the other one, I snipped it to the size, but this one, I'm just going to turn it, and then I'll meet at the other side. I kept thinking after I finished the other one, why did I snip all those? I could have just done one continuous one, but you learn as you go with some of them. I don't know about you, but I have wispies or strings all over me from the glue. Happens every time I craft. I think sometimes when I go to work, I have some of those glue strings on me as well. They just stick to you everywhere. comes together pretty quick. It's only almost 8 and we're almost done. So once you get it to the end, you'll go ahead and snip it where you want it. And of course, just pull all the little extras off of there. And I add a dab of glue just to join that. Then you let that dry just a smidge. And I also cut just this is like a little extra piece. When I get done with the hat, I'm going to use that for the ball of the hat. And I was also going to show you how I do the beard. So I showed you this is the template. What I do is I just place it on there. And a lot of people use the razor knives because they say you can't use scissors because it'll cut your fur. But if you just cut the backing only, your fur will turn out just fine. So I just have that laid on there, and I notice I want to get this corner. So just that backing, I'm going to use my scissors and cut just that backing off. And I still have that piece there. And then same with the other side. You just do the backing and it will work perfect for you every time. You can use scissors. I used to use the knives all the time because I was paranoid and I kept thinking I'm gonna cut that fur, but no, I've gotten better with practice, and so you still have all of that on there, and that's ready for another one. All right, so and I already glued down his nose. What I did was I found the center part and I just moved it a little bit and then glued down the nose. I figured it's a little bit easier for me to put that on there first before I do the rest of it. Hi, Melody. Hi, Sebastian and Lynette. Thank you guys for coming on. Hasn't even been an hour yet and I've already almost got him completely done. I thought he was going to take a lot longer. Because I want to say, well, that other one was my first one, so now I've got him under my belt. He's going to be a little bit simpler. And I pre-cut everything already, and the templates help as well. Alright, so before I do the jacket and start assembling with all that, I'm going to put the legs on the little guy. So I'm going to find out where I want those to hit, and I'm going to mark it with a marker. So all I do is I find like pretty much center, and I find out where I want them, and I just put a dot. So I have it marked. Then I take my scissors, and these scissors are going to go all the way through that sock and the felt and into the styrofoam cone. And then I just twist, create like a little hole for those chopsticks to go in. And I do that on both. So then I have those holes. And I've noticed that it's slightly off, but it's still going to be good. And then I'm going to put glue in there, inside those holes. And yesterday, it started bubbling out just a little bit. So I'm going to make sure the back of this is near the back of that. And then line those up. And then I'm just going to push that all the way. You can do it on the table. You can push it towards yourself. Whatever works for you. So see how that bottom looks? And he stands pretty good. The rocks in the shoes really help. It weights him down. And that poking method with the scissors, that's how we're going to do the arms as well. Okay, so I think I'm going to put his beard on next. So I'm just going to find the center front and I'm going to go just up a little bit past that bottom edge of that styrofoam ball. And I'm going to put the glue on the beard itself right at the top, because the other one I have it slightly tucking inside the coat. So I'm going to aim for that this time too. And if it's not fully centered, don't fret, because he could just have his head turned. So it's all good. So here he is so far. He's looking really cute, right? So I think before I add his jacket and arms, I'm going to go ahead and just do his hat. I ended up doing that last night too. And all I did with that was I took my triangle and I'm gonna go to the front of him, and I'm only gonna put a little bit of glue on the center bottom of this hat. And then when I bring it up here, I'm going to place it where his nose is. And I'm just going to hold it down just a little bit. So that's how I did that. And you know how with a lot of them, I put it over his nose just part way. You don't have to worry about that as much with the hat yet, because you're going to take this chunky yarn and put that along the bottom. So that's going to give that effect of it going over his nose just slightly. So then I'm going to put this bottom one back here. And all I'm doing is putting a bead of glue around that bottom of that styrofoam ball. And then for this part, I'm just going to lay him down a little bit just to show you how I do this. So I kind of crease this top and fold it in to where this is going to lay over top of it. So that will form that cone for his hat. And I just do little bits at a time and work my way up. What do you think of him so far? He's whipping together pretty easy. Okay. So then there's his hat, and you can make it flop over whichever way you are wanting. I normally go towards his left. It's just a preference for me. It doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. Then I'm going to add the little bit. And also I'm going to do with that is just run that a little bead of glue and then wrap that around. And then that's going to create a pom-pom. Oh, Trisha, that's so awesome. If you do make one of these, send me a picture. I want to see how you decorate them. I love how they turn out. Alright, so then I'm going to add a piece around his nose here. That'll be awesome, Trisha. And you know, a lot of people ask, what is the easiest gnome for your first one to do? It kind of depends on the person as to what is easier and what's a more complicated one. This one, to me, is as simple as the sock gnomes. I use rice and a little bit of batting. This one here, it whips up so easy. But he has so much detail, and it's so simple. And also, if anybody has questions, or if they start crafting and they find themselves in a pickle where they have a question, just message me, and as soon as I can, I'll get to you, and I'll try to walk you through it as best I can. And I feel the best advice anybody can give a fellow crafter when it comes to making gnomes or anything is don't give up and don't get frustrated, because crafting is supposed to be fun. So if it's not turning out exactly how you want it to, it's okay. Somebody out there is gonna love what you have done, because a person is their own worst critic. Somebody out there will love any mistakes. And a lot of mistakes are happy ones, because it ends up half the time way better than how you planned it originally. And with these, I always glue them down. You don't have to. You could even put stuffing in there if you wanted it to stay up. It's however you want. There's no wrong way, and that's what I like about the gnomes. There's no wrong way of doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue him down. Glue this hat down. And you'll find after you've made a few gnomes, you find yourself playing with the beards to get them to go certain ways on how you want them. You can use, I've got this real sticky stuff that I can use to spike the back of my hair. I have used that, it doesn't take much. You use that on your fingers and in order to form the beards where you want it. Oh, Trisha, I crochet too. I don't like the hard projects though. I like the stuff that gets done right away. I like to see the end result. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and bend my arm just a little bit and then round this out just slightly. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one, making sure that the crease is towards the center. So make sure those are towards the center of your gnome. So it'll be opposite on each side. There you go. And then, boy, he's just about done. And he's looking so cute. Look at that. You don't even have to add a jacket or arms if you don't want to. He could be done depending on the person. This one for me is more intricate because a lot of my gnomes are not, they don't have as many pieces as this one does. So this one, I just lean this back. Isn't that looking sharp for his jacket? I make it to where it goes down past his body just a little bit. And then I bring it up a little bit towards the back, and then I make sure that I have that collar, and I'm gonna glue it down. And there might even have to be, towards the front, since your cone gets shorter up there, you might have to create like a little pucker in the back, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some glue on the back here. And then I'm going to have him facing me so I can see about getting it even. I get to be a little stickler for myself when it comes to my crafts. And then you just kind of hold it. And also when you glue it up this way, make sure to be careful for the beard. So I normally push the beard aside and find out where I want that glue. So that's looking pretty cute right there. In the back, there's quite a bit of fabric left here. So I'm gonna push that in the center. And I'm gonna create a little pucker. And then I'm going to glue that down there. And then I'm just going to hold it in place. See how I created that little pleat or pucker in the back? That's just going to make it to where it's more formed and he doesn't have so much fabric back there. So I'm just holding that in place. Then after that part, now we're gonna do the arms and get those arms in there. He is looking so sharp. At the beginning, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like the dark brown or the light brown better, but I think it's gonna be equal. So then I'm just gonna figure out where I'm gonna place his arms. And I'll probably just do a little dot like I did before. And then I'm gonna double check. Yep, that looks good. Hi, Robbie. Oh, thank you. Alright, so then I'm going to use my little scissors and I'm just going to poke a hole and twist side to side to create that hole. So see how it created that hole there? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And that pokes through that felt and the sock. And the styrofoam. So then I'm going to put a bead of glue inside. And then I'm going to put that all the way up against his coat, making sure that his hand comes up where you want it. You can also put a little bead of glue right where that arm meets the jacket, and that'll help hold it in place as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the side here. I'm going to put glue inside. And I'll show you, I added a little bit of glue here. I did that after I had already poked it in there, but I'm going to do it before to show you. And then you just put it in there. And then you hold it for a little bit. The little scissors here, I got them at Hobby Lobby. I also have another pair. I think I got these at Walmart. But when I went to Hobby Lobby, I crochet. So when I saw this one, it's a ball of yarn. And I kind of squealed out loud. And I went, oh my gosh, that's coming home with me. So I get kind of crazy when I go to the store. I see things and squeal out loud. People look at me like I'm nuts, but oh well. Okay, so then I cut a little piece. He's just about done, guys. All we have to do now is the embellishments and the wood. So what I would do first is put his little buttons on. So what I did was I glued this so it would be like a fastener for his coat. And then I would glue these buttons on each side. Now since they have too big of a, I don't know if you can see this, it has like a big buttonhole on there. I used my snips. Where are they at? There they are. So I used my snips and cut that down a little bit. And then I just used hot glue to hold it in place. And what I'm going to do is glue this down. And I'm going to let that glue sit on this button. That will keep it attached. There we go. So I'm going to glue this little piece to his jacket. So that's his jacket closure. Then I'm going to glue this button on each side. And you don't have to do this detail. It's just, I wanted to add a little bit more zing or pizzazz to my gnomes. And so I raided the button box. And I was like, this would look really cute on one of these jackets. So I used it. So there's that. So Robbie, on the jacket, I made little templates. That way, just for that purpose. So if somebody asked. So it's 8 inches long, 7 inches tall. So the 7 inches goes up and down on the gnome. And then the 8 inches goes around him. Okay. Oh, you are so welcome. I'm so glad you guys are talkative and you visit with me during these. It's so helpful. And if you do have any other questions, you're more than welcome to message me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So then on the wood, I just put glue on the hands and up close to his body so it'll stay. And I use a pretty good amount because I don't want that the wood to fall off of there. At first, when I was first making that other one, I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to fall off of there from the weight. But really, it did great. There we go. And what I normally do is if there's a little bit more glue than what I want, I use my little metal scissors and I snag some of that so it doesn't drip. Okay, I will get that hat measurement here in a second for you. Just want to make sure that this little stack of wood or sticks is not going to fall. Okay, so here's the hat. I don't have them memorized. At some point I will. So it is, the very bottom is 10.5, and I probably did just a little bit more because I didn't do the hat precise. But about 10.5 inches this way, and it's about 9 inches tall. But I did make it just a little bit bigger, just because I like having more flopping over. Okay, so there's him with the wood pieces. You're so welcome. Now I'm going to do the embellishments on the hat. You don't have to. It's like I always say, you know, you can make it as intricate as you want. With me, I always like to add a little bit of pizzazz, is what I call it, to the project. So, of course, I have to add a little something to the top. So what I'm gonna do is, this is my little glittery. I'm probably gonna tuck it on this side. And then, of course, I'm going to add my little yellow flower. Oh, I'm liking him already. I'm glad I chose to put a flower on here. He might not need any berries. So I'm going to turn him around and I'll let you see what I've got so far. You can let me know if you think it needs berries. Any of these little berries or without. I've got wispies. Oh, Trisha, that's so nice. I'm glad that it's helping. Mary, you don't think it needs berries either? I didn't think so, but I wanted second opinions. So he's done. I can show you. And it only took an hour and a half. So here's the little guys. They turned out so cute. Oh my goodness. All because I bought the boots. And I wasn't sure if I was wanting to use felt. I thought, well, it'd probably look, I don't know, a little bit more presentable, I guess, with regular fabric, like jacket fabric. But the felt is still, it still looks really nice. Even, I mean, even up close, it kind of looks like a wintry suede jacket. I mean, now with some of the other ones, I put a little thin piece, like a little thin piece of felt around the arms on some of them, just to kind of give it a more complete look. You can do that if you want. On these, I didn't, but I still think they look amazing. Trisha, I haven't. But that is the goal. I do want to make some with red and make them look like Santa. I want to use some greens and reds to make elves. Excuse me. So I do want to make some that are more for Christmas. And I also thought, shoot, I could even make one that looks like a scarecrow. These ones here are going to be so versatile. I could make one for pretty much every holiday. You can make Valentine ones. You can make some that look like 4th of July, like Uncle Sam. Oh, Amy, thank you so much. Hi, Bailey. Oh, Hocus Pocus would be a great one. And then also, I'm a really big Harry Potter fan too. Harry Potter ones would be really cute. You could just, boy, the options are endless. You can do anything. This is the main thing I go looking for when I go shopping is shoes and boots, anything that I can use for feet. I also look for the curlers. I know some places are sold out at the Dollar Trees. But if you can't find curlers, I'm sure you can use a bigger dowel rod instead. Cover that in felt. I mean, there's other options. If you can't find exactly what I used, don't panic. You know, if you're really wanting any of my ideas, you can message me and say, hey, I can't find this. Do you have any ideas of what else I can use? Just shoot me a message and we'll brainstorm, you know. So if you ever feel like you're struggling, just don't stress over it. You know, shoot me a message. I'll be willing to brainstorm with you. And they're so fun to make. I ended up getting some white tennis shoes, so I plan on using those. And then on one of the gnomes that I made, I used that koozie. Well, then I wanted to make another one, and I didn't have any more of those tennis shoes. So I went scrambling through Walmart looking for more doll tennis shoes. Couldn't find any in the doll section. So I thought, well, I wonder if they have any, like, over in the pet section. So I went through there, and they had, for like birds, parakeets or whatever, this little chain, and it had 3 little sneakers on it, and it also had plastic pacifiers, and a little bell at the bottom. It had a red shoe, a yellow shoe, and a blue one. I bought 2 of those, because that's all they had left. Otherwise, I would have bought them out. So since I bought 2 of those chains, I got 3 pairs of shoes. And it was for birds. So just try to keep an open mind and use what you got, or go in any of the sections. I know they have tennis shoes on keychains. Amazon's a good place to look. They have quite a bit of stuff there as well. But shoot, I ended up doing a video that wasn't 2 hours. It's only an hour and a half. Yep, you can get a lot of it on Amazon, but I work at Walmart. I'm an optician in the Vision Center, and on my lunch hours, a lot of times, you can ask anybody who works there. A lot of my close friends know. On my lunch hour, I will be found in the craft section, and a lot of times in the toys. Oh, let's see. How tall is he? He's probably about 15, 16 inches tall. Kind of depends on how tall you want, where you bend your hat at. If you bend it down a little bit further, he would probably be about 12 to 14 inches. But these ones here, I will put on my farmer's market table. They'll probably sell for about 30 bucks is what I'm going to put on there. I'm sure I could put more, but it kind of depends on your area as to what everything will go by. But I normally do supplies times 2, and then I add a little bit of profit. So with these, I will probably sell them for about $30 at my farmer's market on my table. I am so glad you guys came on and watched. They turn out so amazing. And the little pieces, I get them through the year. A lot of the glittery ones and the sparkly ones I get around Christmas time. I get them at Dollar Tree. I get them at Walmart. Those are my main go-tos. But, I mean, you can get them anywhere. And then I just cut little pieces off of them, and they last forever. One sprig can do tons of crafts. So, just whatever. There's no wrong way of doing it. And if you didn't want to put the thing of sticks in there, you could put anything you want in there. Oh, Danielle, thank you so much for that. I just want to thank you guys for supporting me and watching and wanting to see all of this as well. I'm normally a really shy person, and I don't speak well in groups. I get really, really nervous. So last year I decided I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, and I'm just going to do it. And the easy part about this is when I do the videos, I don't see everybody in the room. So even though you're all watching, it doesn't make me as nervous because I can't see you. I can see your posts and everything, but I don't get as nervous. So I'm loving this. And crafting is my happy place and my go-to because it keeps my brain off of everything else. So it just kind of, this keeps me sane, is watching, you know, and crafting and all that. It kind of keeps my brain going and not dwelling on everything else. Danielle, thank you. Hi, BJ. I'm just about done with this live. There's not really a whole lot more. I ended up making some little gnomes to go inside some trucks that I got at Hobby Lobby. I did those last night. I ended up making 2 of the teal ones and 2 of the red ones. Those will probably be sold for $20 because the truck itself was $5. So, oh, you guys are so sweet. You guys are great. Alright, so I think I'm going to go ahead and log off because I'm kind of a weird person, I guess. After the lives, I have to be able to watch it over just to make sure that I did everything I wanted to do. And if I missed anybody's comments, I can comment back to them. So I want to be able to do that before I head to bed tonight. But I do want to say thank you guys again for watching and supporting me. And I did notice that I'm getting pretty close to 750. So when that happens, I will be drawing another name. And two of the people that I drew for reaching 700, I will be contacting them after I get off of here to send them a little bit of sunshine. So the gnomes in the little trucks, I did post pictures on my page. So I think I posted just 2 of them. The other 2 I made this morning before work, and I don't think I posted the pictures of those. But I do plan on it. Alright, well, you guys have a great weekend. And if you have any questions or anything, just shoot me a message. I'll get back to you when I can. And I really appreciate you guys watching and sticking it out, the 1.5. So, oh, and also do that. And keep watching on my YouTube as well, because after I do the lives on Facebook, I do transfer them over to my YouTube page. So if you are meeting on there, they will be there as well. So, alright, well, you guys have a great weekend, and keep checking back on my page. I have a few days off coming up, and I might just pop on and do another live. And I will talk to you guys then. Bye.